Welcome, everyone. I'm Amy Seeley, president of Seeley Test Pros and LEAP, helping students succeed on all kinds of tests from 8th grade to grad school throughout Ohio.
And I'm Mike Bergen, president of Chariot Learning, helping students with test school and life based out of Rochester, New York.
Between the two of us today, we have over 60 years of experience at the highest levels of the test preparation and supplemental education industries.
We both love to talk and learn about the latest issues in education, testing, and admissions. So let's get down to tests and the rest. The fascinating topic we want to explore today is artificial intelligence as an undergraduate major. But first, let's meet our special guest, Jennifer Stephan.
Dr. Jennifer Stephan holds a BS degree in electrical engineering from Johns Hopkins University, as well as an MS and a PhD in electrical and computer engineering from Carnegie Mellon University. She has held a variety of roles across top colleges and universities, including professor, academic dean, and board admissions member. Jennifer is currently the Dean of Academic Advising and Undergraduate Studies for the School of Engineering at Tufts University. Jennifer found Lantern College Counseling, a robust college counseling practice where she regularly employs insights from her experiences leading in higher education to help students develop their college lists and shape competitive, authentic applications. She specializes in STEM, computer science, engineering, undecided, and transfer students. Welcome.
Well, thank you so much for having me. It's good to be back.
Jennifer, it is great to have you back. Listeners might be familiar with your previous appearances on the show. We had you on the show for a test prep profile in episode 559, and in episode 541, you helped us explore the competitive landscape of computer science and engineering admissions. And that is consistent with your really busy professional portfolio. Tell us a bit about how you manage both a high-level undergraduate position as well as a college consulting position.
Sure. Yeah. Yes, I'm a busy woman, but I enjoy it. I enjoy the busyness. I find the two roles complement each other beautifully because my expertise on a college campus with the curriculum and as a dean of engineering, I oversee the curriculum for the 16 academic programs offered or degree programs offered by the 6 departments in the School of Engineering. And as a leader, I have a seat at the table when it comes to decision making around all sorts of topics that are relevant on a college campus. As an example, just yesterday, I was at a meeting where we all discussed, a very large group of people, which included folks from all corners of campus, how we are going to manage supporting students next week during the election. And it was actually a really, really humbling and uplifting at the same time conversation where I just saw how so many people are being so thoughtful about the complex ways in which we need to do this complex work. And so I know what goes on college campuses because I'm on a college campus every day, and I bring those insights to my college admissions counseling work when I work with high school students at Lantern College Counseling. I would like to say that I do have a conflict of interest agreement in place with Tufts that helps me draw clear lines between the roles that I have, these 2 different roles. And I have no role on the Board of Admissions at Tufts. So I just always like to be clear about that. And today I'm here in my capacity as the founder and college counselor at Lantern College Counseling and as a STEM expert.
Which is great for all of us because actually where you fall in terms of your profession, like cutting edge kind of, I feel like, as far as STEM fields go and the way in which we're seeing the advancement or the evolution of technology, you're getting to probably see that firsthand just with the degree programs that are being offered on your college campus.
Yeah, yep. Since we agreed to do this podcast, the Tufts School of Engineering faculty have recently approved a new Masters of Science in Artificial Intelligence. And I can't give you too many of the details yet because they're still being ironed out, not because I'm withholding any information. There are going to be 2 tracks, one through the Electrical and Computer Engineering Department and one through the Computer Science Department. What their names are, what exactly they'll be offering or requiring in terms of courses is still all TBD. But as an example, yes, this is just within, I think, the past 2 weeks that this new degree program was approved. And in terms of undergraduate students, we're talking about a new master's degree, but when a student chooses to go to a university, as they advance through the curriculum, they may have the opportunity to take courses that are master level courses They may also have the opportunity to enroll in a master's program, perhaps through a combined degree program, or just to stay on for extra time and roll over, if you will, into a master's program after their undergraduate degree.
So let's pursue that a little bit. So I'm curious, what is it that students would study if they're going to pursue a major in AI?
Right. Typically, an AI degree includes foundational math courses such as calculus, probability and statistics, linear algebra, and discrete math, foundational computing concepts, including introduction to programming, data structures, algorithm design, and programming languages, advanced computing concepts like robotics, machine learning, signals and systems, big data, optimization and control, symbolic computation, computer graphics, human-computer interaction, decision-making, vision perception, and language processing. And last, very important too, we don't want to overlook this, related electives from the disciplines of ethics, social responsibility, cognitive science, linguistics, psychology, and philosophy.
So actually, I was going to say the philosophy. So that sounds like a really holistic way of thinking about the field and trying to kind of train new professionals in the field with that sort of idea that you're just not operating in a vacuum with what you're creating, right?
Of course, yeah, 100%. And I've said this, I might have even said this the last time we spoke, in other contexts, that I was at Wellesley College for 21 years before I moved to Tufts 9 years ago, and I was a professor of computer science. And this was, the field of computer science has gone through ups and downs in terms of interest, in terms of enrollments. And, in the early 2000s, mid 2000s, there was really a nadir in enrollments. And a lot of Wellesley College students said that they were being discouraged from pursuing a CS major by their family because their families were afraid that they wouldn't find a job. And what I said at the time is, you are learning skills that are going to transcend your major, that are going to be broadly applicable, because you're learning how to read, to write, to advocate, to think critically, to work in teams, to persuade, to collaborate, et cetera, think quantitatively. And these are skills that transcend any major, and we can't know what the future jobs are going to be. I got my PhD at Carnegie Mellon in the mid 90s. And that was when the web was really coming to fruition and, being born. And I saw my first web page, and I was at Carnegie Mellon, which is as cutting edge as it goes for technology. But I was seeing my first web pages at that time at CMU. We could not have ever predicted where we are today and known all the jobs. So these types of skills that I just ended on when I was listing all of them really are, I would argue, the most important ones, because these are, more than skills, learning how to think, learning why you're doing things is critical in all fields, but especially AI, which is having profound impacts on so many parts of our lives.
Sure.
So you raise a couple of interesting questions when you talk about the computer science major. And does the AI major supplant the computer science major? How different are the subjects that you described from the subjects that a computer science major might take?
Such a great question. We have so many students who are interested in studying AI, and sometimes it kind of dismays them. High school students, I'm talking about in my college counseling practice, and other college counselors say that they have students who want to study AI. And they're often dismayed to learn that there are very few programs that offer a formal undergraduate degree in AI, less than a dozen. And I know you're going to put in the notes at the end of the program a link that I've written on this topic. And your listeners, rather than me list those dozen schools right now, your listeners can certainly go to that article and see that list. But the top 10 AI programs, according to US News and World Report, if we'd like to use that rankings, of them, only two, MIT and Stanford, I think, if I'm doing this correctly. I take that back. Only CMU and MIT offer formal AI undergraduate degrees. 8 do not. 8 do not, Stanford being one of them. I knew as I was saying it, I had remembered incorrectly. Students can be extremely well prepared through a typical undergraduate computer science degree by making course selections to ensure that they are learning those key AI concepts that I outlined earlier.
Well, that's what I was wondering. When you said those classes before, I thought to myself, these have got to be classes that would correspond with other degree programs that a student might be pursuing, right?
Yeah. And I'll say that some CS programs actually have formal tracks to help students structure that clustering, if you will, of courses, so they don't have to sort of figure it out on their own. For instance, Stanford has has 10 tracks, one of which is AI, the computer science department I'm speaking about. Georgia Tech's computer science department outlines 7 threads, one of which is intelligence. And there are other examples like that as well. Again, the article that I've written outlines them clearly.
So, do we think a student needs to major in artificial intelligence or to learn about AI to be prepared for the careers that they might pursue down the road in AI?
No, they don't at all. They can study related majors that have AI related courses and topics available. Data sciences is an example, a prime example, but also others like robotics, mathematics and applied mathematics, statistics, cognitive science, electrical engineering, computer engineering. Again, if they make these choices, they should augment their coursework or choose their electives. Most degrees have electives. Choose their electives carefully to focus on the areas that I mentioned earlier, AI-related areas. And students who are considering schools that do not have formal AI programs should take a close look at the course catalog to see what the offerings are and to see if there are courses listed that align with the subjects that I mentioned earlier.
What about coming at it from a non-technical angle? Like, do you even need to understand the technical aspects of AI to become some kind of prompt engineer and just learn how to elicit the most accurate information from AI?
Well, it's always helpful when you're working in a context to have some sense of the underpinnings, right? To understand some of the technologies, but you do not have to be an AI specialist to be able to be working in AI in a related part of AI, non-technical part of AI. I wanted to draw your attention to one particular interesting degree program at Purdue University. They actually offer 2 options for earning an AI undergraduate degree. One is sort of the classic one you're thinking about in the School of Sciences or the College of Science. Let me make it accurate. But the second is an artificial intelligence BA degree from the College of Arts. And that new major, it's new, includes specialized philosophy courses and 5 computer science courses, like a CS minor. And so it helps teach students fundamental programming and data analysis skills and helps them gain a deep understanding of the field's current ethical and epistemological issues and questions. So to your question, you may be having a minor in CS or a cluster of courses, and minors are usually 5 courses. So having, some subset of your coursework that gives you some insights to the technology of AI is, of course, going to be helpful, but you don't have to become, a full-on AI specialist in all the technical aspects to be able to work in AI, in a field related to AI.
That's fascinating and really encouraging for a lot of students who might want to get involved in what they see as a big wave, but don't want to study science as in depth.
Right.
You're kind of like, and also I think it refreshing to imagine that not everyone who's working in AI is strictly technical and is lacking the philosophical and ethical education that seems to be vital.
You mean the human component, Mike?
Yeah, well, there's a lot to be
Like
afraid of, right?
Right.
Well, you trigger a few things in my mind. One is that there are 2 points I'm hoping to make. One is that there is a sort of a tension in the industry and higher ed about how to train students technically for AI, with the trend being that there are increasingly schools that teach CS outside of a school of engineering or outside of a school of arts and sciences. My alma mater, where I got my master's and PhD, is an example. It's a long-standing, it's not new. CMU has a school of computer science. And there are some in the business that argue that this is really not healthy to have a school of computer science separate from an overall undergraduate experience where a student might be more broadly educated. When a school has, a school can define its own requirements.
Yeah.
Whereas if a CS degree is embedded in a school of arts and sciences at a university, there are broader, forces and oversight and curricula committees and all sorts of faculty that have their eyes on how to best educate broadly students, whereas in a school of computer science, that could occur or that could not occur depending on the school. So that's one point I wanted to make, and something that your listeners might want to pay attention to is, where would I be studying AI? Would I be studying within a standalone CS department, or would I be studying within a larger infrastructure, a larger school where I'd be more broadly educated? Because I would argue that that would serve you well, to make sure that you have these broad exposures to these more, as you said, human sides of the questions. But the second thing that you triggered in my mind is that, as AI becomes a more significant part of our society, as we're already seeing, there will undoubtedly be a massive need for people of all skill sets and academic backgrounds who understand how AI works, its limitations, and how to use AI responsibly. We're already seeing lawyers who specialize in AI ethicists for business and medical applications, non-technical AI researchers, experts in using AI for sales, marketing, social media, AI artists, AI writers, prompt engineers, which we mentioned earlier, and more. And these are all fields that require these human elements that we've been talking about. And students who don't want to major in AI can contribute really importantly and meaningfully to these areas.
Yeah, because as you're talking, that's kind of what I was thinking, is just how much we're moving to a world where everyone, probably AI is going to touch their life in some way, in some capacity. And it makes me think, for kids in college, like, how to make the sausage. Do I need to understand how to create it, like the creation of it? Or on the flip side of that, being trained to use it, understand, like, how much do you need to understand it to be able to use it? So there are a lot of implications for a lot of career fields, right? Having some knowledge of AI and how to harness the power, if you will, of AI.
Right. And I'm kind of getting off a little bit on a tangent here, but you triggered in my mind how to make the sausage. The fascinating thing about AI is that even people who make the sausage don't sometimes know how they made the sausage. That's the thing. That's why AI tools hallucinate
That's
and
what's
come up with,
scary.
right, and behave in ways that are not necessarily deterministic or predictive. And so it is scary, but it also presents these opportunities for people to contribute, to try to help us really think about how AI is going to impact us and how to be responsible about that.
Are there other elements of this process? Students are on the threshold. Yeah, anybody who's considering entering higher education in the next couple of years, they want to get into a burgeoning field. They're thinking about the different possibilities. There are different pathways we described. Are there other considerations or the particular institutions that students should consider, or are there pitfalls that they should try to plan around?
Well, one thought as you're speaking, I don't know if this is exactly what you're asking about, but one thought that I mentioned, I think it was in response to the question you asked me about, I think it was, what other majors besides AI and CS can prepare you for a career in AI? And I mentioned, the first one I mentioned was data sciences. And most data sciences programs ask you to have an area of focus besides data science, whether it be like literature, so it'd be digital literature, whether it be biology and you'd be bioinformatics. The point is that it is a discipline that you focus on or you concentrate on. And I'm reminded of, so I have 3 daughters, and my middle daughter, so my oldest is an engineer, I'm an engineer, my husband's an engineer. My middle daughter, who's now 25, originally thought she might want to major in photography, and that's not something I know a lot about. So I asked, at the time I was at Wellesley College, and I asked a professor there if she would meet with me and my daughter to help me understand artistic pathways. And my daughter had had a lot of photography experience and taken multiple courses in high school, digital to analog, and had many projects and done summer activities, with photography. And this professor, whose name is Daniela Rivera, she's an art professor at Wellesley, she said to my daughter, whose name is Hannah, do not go to college and study photography. You already know how to use a camera. You now need to learn how to think. You need to learn, should I take the photo? How should I take the photo? Why should I take the photo? Study something that is, whether it be history or whether it be sociology or whether it be, that's going to inform the way you practice photography. And that advice, I think, is very apropos here, right? To students, learning the technical nuts and bolts is just a piece of it. And learning how to think, and especially with AI, why you're doing your work and how you're doing your work and the context is, for me, what will endure as the field evolves and changes, because the skills will necessarily become obsolete. Whereas, learning how to think and be critical about the work will transcend technical skills and time.
Jennifer, that is so powerful. I mean, it's really important for anyone who goes into any kind of technical major to understand you're not just doing it for the ability to do it. Like, what are you doing it for? And AI, of all the things we've discussed, right? I mean, it's just because of its potential and its power, we want people to have a plan, hopefully a positive one, for using it.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. Lots of opportunity. As Amy said, it is scary though, too, because there are lots of unknowns. But I think that the best hope for us is that young adults learn these skills, learn beyond technical skills, learn these broader skills that will help them inform the work and the field as it evolves.
Fantastic. Any final tips for students? Again, this is all new, right? There's not a long history of students going to school and studying AI and coming out with degrees and the set career track. So what else might you advise students thinking of embarking on this uncharted course?
Well, to echo back to what I said to my Wellesley students in the mid 2000s, I told them at the time their parents were worried about outsourcing and worried about their students not having jobs. And then, of course, the economic downturn hit in 2008. And then all of a sudden, CS enrollments went through the roof, right? Because everybody was eager for a job. But what I said to the students at the time is, yeah, some jobs are going to be outsourced, but not your jobs, because you're learning the skills that cannot be outsourced. And to a degree, that's true of AI as well, right? Now the question or the concern might not be, will a job be outsourced, but will it be replaced by AI? So I'm actually talking even more generally outside of students wanting to study AI, but just to people who are worried about jobs going away, right? Will some jobs go away? Yes, but not the jobs that require what I would call, this is me making this up on the fly, real human intelligence, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because that is not able to be codified, at least not yet, in AI. And so, being reassured that learning skills that transcend specific skills, whatever the domain, whether it be AI jobs or whether it be other jobs that you're concerned about being replaced by AI, that is what I hope for all students embarking on a career, that they recognize and understand that. And so when a family is thinking about studying AI, I would encourage them to make sure that the programs that they're looking at address that context, address the larger need, or that they make sure they augment the AI major with a second major or a minor or coursework. It doesn't have to be a formal certification. I'm always telling my students that schools require one major for a reason. That's what they think is important. But, what else beyond the major, if it's not a formal certification, will be helpful in positioning you for future unknowns.
That's outstanding. Jennifer, we could clearly speak with you all day about this topic. Unfortunately, we're out of time. Thank you so much for joining us.
Oh, thank you so much for having me. It's always a pleasure.
If listeners would like to get in touch with you, what's the best way for them to do that?
I would ask that they contact me at jennifer@lanterncollege.com, or they can go to my website. If they type in Lantern College Counseling, they'll find it, and they can submit an intake form. I would ask that they not contact me at Tufts, but rather Lantern.
Awesome. We hope you enjoyed this discussion as much as we did. Be sure to join us for another fascinating topic and guest on the next test and the rest.
Did you enjoy this episode as much as we did? Find expanded links and more for this and all of our episodes at our show page at testsandtherest.com. While you're there, be sure to explore everything the larger TestBright site has to offer, including real, expert, unbiased answers to the toughest admissions testing questions. Of course, we'd love for you to rate, review, and subscribe to Tests and the Rest on your favorite podcast platform. If there's a topic or guest you'd like us to feature, just let us know and spread the word.